All right. So, in this video, we'll be going over all of nutrition science in 13 minutes, no BS by Dabby. We'll see what he has to say.
Hi, you're a meat tube with opinions, shoveling things into your body and... Wait, what the heck is going on here? So, what exactly is nutrition? It's your body extracting nutrients from food and using them. And what are nutrients? The stuff your body can't make itself.
Okay, well, it can make carbohydrates itself, but maybe it's just like putting a lot of things in here, right? Just trying to explain what your body needs, maybe.
Molecular building blocks. Okay, before we talk about what these
Whoa.
nutrients actually do inside, you need to meet the machines running your food factory. First up is your mouth, your built-in grinder. You're chopping food into paste, while salivary enzymes start the very first round of digestion. And P.S., if you don't chew properly, your stomach absolutely hates you. And once the grinding is done, then it enters the stomach, your personal acid tank. This is where proteins unfold, invaders get wiped out, and everything turns into usable mush. Basically, demolition phase completed. And once demolition is done, that mush slides into the small intestine. Inside the small intestine, the pancreas releases biochemical scissors that cut carbs, fats, and proteins into tiny absorbable pieces. And then, welcome to the absorption zone, the long, winding pipe where nutrients actually enter your body. This works only because the walls are covered with villi and microvilli, your microscopic absorption carpet that multiplies surface area hundreds of times. Just like the tiny loops on a towel help it soak up more water, and whatever it does get absorbed, it goes straight to the boss, the liver, the command center for nutrients. Every molecule reports here before entering your bloodstream, and the liver decides whether to burn it, store it, detox it, or send it elsewhere.
You know what a detox is? Fructose. Where do you find fructose? That's right. Fruit.
Moral of the story, you're not what you eat, you're what you absorb. Alright, factory tour over. Now let's look at the inputs, the macronutrients. These are your three big boys. Carbs, fats, and proteins. Stuff your body needs in large quantities. Unlike
Well, your body doesn't need all macronutrients. It doesn't need carbohydrates because it can make its own carbohydrates. So...
micronutrients, vitamins and minerals, which you only need in tiny amounts. But we'll get to those later. Carbohydrates first. They are your body's preferred fuel. Every type of carb you eat gets converted into the same molecule.
Well, okay, no. Let's. It's important to sort of distinguish this. They're not your preferred fuel source. They're the fuel source that your body has to use first. It wants to get rid of carbohydrate-based fuel, and the reason is because of once again, this is Randall's cycle, where if you lock the glucose out of the cell, then that basically is just wreaking havoc on the endothelium, so on the vascular system. So yeah, it's sort of important to know. So that's the reason why your body uses it first, most likely. It's because it causes the most damage to the body if it's not used. So it's not preferred. It's forced to being used first.
Glucose. Once that glucose shows up, your body has two options: immediate energy or glycogen storage. Your liver and muscles stash a little for later, but glycogen tanks are tiny. Once they're full, any extra glucose gets converted straight into body fat. So if every carb turns into glucose, then why the differentiation? It's all about how they're built and how fast that glucose enters your bloodstream. Simple carbs are tiny chains. Your body digests instantly. Fast blood sugar spike, fast crash, fast hunger. Whereas complex carbs are long, tangled chains. Slow digestion, slow glucose release, smooth energy, keeps you full for long. And then there's fiber. A carb
No. Hold on.
your body can't digest, but your gut bacteria munch on it to keep your gut healthy and level up your poopy game.
No. Your gut bacteria are incredibly inefficient at breaking down fiber into short-chain fatty acids. No, it's not true. That is not true. Fiber is not, nor is it actually a healthy carbohydrate at all. So, no.
Fiber also slows down glucose absorption, which helps prevent blood sugar spikes.
Yeah. I guess that's like the only good thing is that if you eat a ton of glucose and you have it with fiber, it slows down the absorption, but it's still not good. it's still not good. So I mean, like, your body can't use it. It basically damages your body as well. Like, there's no reason to add it in. You don't need it. You don't need it. There's a lot of examples of proof of how you don't need it actually as well. So.
Now, fats. Your brain is 60% fat. Your cell membranes are made of fat.
And by the way, those living proofs, an example is me, and probably the best one, I'm going to constantly reference him as best case study for this, is Lee, Kent Carnivore. He has the best example of that. Adding in fiber was deleterious to his well-being. So,
Your hormones depend on fat, so fat is definitely not an enemy.
yes, very true. Very, very true. Cholesterol is required in order to make your hormones, sex steroid hormones specifically. So yeah.
What makes a fat healthy or harmful is its molecular structure that determines how your body uses it. Saturated fats, like butter and coconut oil, are solid at room temperature and chemically stable, which is why they tolerate heat well. Good for cooking, fine in moderation. Monounsaturated fats, like olive oil, are liquid but still stable, the gold standard for everyday fats and heart health.
No, not true. Not true. So, I forgot to reference this in a lot of my other recent videos, and it's probably because like I've been off of the carnivore thing for a little, or not off of the carnivore thing, but I was doing other things, like I was making a video game, which I might talk about if you're interested. You can ask me in the comments, or I was playing League and doing other stuff. I basically just wasn't doing YouTube channel stuff, and I kind of forgot a lot of the stuff that I talked about, but. Once again, this is all in the Real Nutrition Science playlist. I made a playlist about all of this just so like people can understand how this entire thing works and why this, as one example, isn't healthy, and pretty much why carnivore is optimal health based on biochemistry if you're really interested. And monounsaturated fats, well, first off, unsaturated fats aren't ideal, and the reason they're not ideal, especially polyunsaturated fats, actually, they're the most not ideal. But monounsaturated fats, so unsaturated means that basically there's a kink in the double bond. I mean, there's a double bond, and it kinks, and because of that, that's not necessarily always unhealthy, especially when it's repeated. And let's see if he talks. Let's see if he explains. Because I feel like he's going to say polyunsaturated. It's like, ooh, it's good, right? But actually, no, he might not. Because when is this? 5 days ago. Okay, so he's probably going to say polyunsaturated is bad for heart health. Hopefully, because that was the recent thing, right? I thought this was made like years ago, but apparently not.
Polyunsaturated fats include omega-3s and omega-6s. Their multiple double bonds make them liquid and fragile, so they oxidize easily under high heat or heavy processing. And it's the main reason seed oils are debated. But your body needs both. Omega-3 helps reduce inflammation. Omega-6 helps create inflammation for healing.
Well, yeah, you do. But the thing is, you don't need them from seed oils because once again, those polyunsaturated fats can also, by the way, they can come from meat. And not only can they come from meat, they can come from there's a difference between linoleic acid and the conjugated form of linoleic acid. And the really big difference is that when you get the non-conjugated form, it's way more inflammatory. And once again, all of this is in the Real Nutrition Science playlist. So that's why that's one extra reason why you don't want seed oils. And the conjugated form of linoleic acid, you get that from meat. So you want that instead. No, you don't need seed oils.
It's the ratio that matters. Artificial trans fats, on the other hand, are harmful because of their unnatural structure. They're created by hydrogenating oils, which forces the fat into a rigid shape your body struggles to process, and messes with your body in multiple ways. Avoid completely. And finally,
Yeah, by the way. And where did we figure that out from? I'm pretty sure we figured that out from the margarine experiment. So what I find comical is Bill Gates comes out and he says, you know what? We're going to promote a new kind of butter. This butter is not like it. You don't need it's not animal based, or you don't need to have any animals in the process. In fact, not at all. No. And that's right. It's all healthy for you too. And see, that's sort of this is just like margarine all over again. So I kind of find that comical, but he's trying to sell something, right? He's trying to make money, I guess.
Fat isn't the enemy. It's the transport system your body uses to absorb key nutrients like vitamins A, D, E, and K. Now protein. Its reputation speaks for itself. Every cell in your body is made of protein, but unlike carbs and fats, your body has no storage tank for it if you don't eat enough. Your body steals it from your muscles, hair, and nails just to keep your heart beating. Protein is built from 20 Lego bricks called amino acids. 9 are essential, meaning your body can't make them. The other 11 are non-essential. Your body can manufacture them. The trap is this. If you're missing even one of the 9 essential amino acids, the entire construction project stops. That's why animal protein, which is complete, is biologically easier for your body to use compared.
Oh, very true. Very, very true. This guy knows that about amino acids. Well, the reason why it's like complete is more so because the amino acid profile of animal food is just balanced. So basically all these building blocks that he showed here before, right? These 9 ones on the bottom: tryptophan, threonine, phenylalanine, lysine, histidine, methionine, valine, isoleucine, and leucine. All of those are, 1, you can't make it, obviously, like you said. And 2, when you look at like a plant source of all of these usually it's like a plant, for instance, has really high tryptophan and really high lysine, and then the rest of these, it's like nothing, right? So basically this is pretty much why you see a lot of vegans emaciated really quickly, is because in order for them to get enough protein, they have to have all 9 of these. But the problem is that plants are always basically high in like 1 or 2 of them, and that's it. So it's like tons of tryptophan, tons of lysine, or maybe tons of threonine and tons of phenylalanine, right? And how exactly are they supposed to make this entire structure when they only have 2 building blocks, right? And that's basically from 1 plant. Now, if they add in like 5 plants, and by the way, they have to know the amino acid profiles of the plants. So just because one of them has a lot of lysine and histidine, for instance, right? It doesn't necessarily mean that the next one won't also have a lot of lysine and histidine. There's a chance that it could. So they're just basically having tons of this, and then it's all based on the lowest common denominator. So if they have like 10 of every single one of these except one of these, then it all goes down to 1, and then the other 9 get thrown away. So that's a pretty important point to mention, actually. It's probably the most important point to mention. That's the reason why plant protein doesn't really work, or it works, but you have to really balance out the amino acids, and that's just a pain in the ass. And realistically, nobody's going to do that, so...
That's why animal protein, which is complete, is biologically easier for your body to use compared to many plant proteins. This is where variety matters, like how legumes such as peas are typically low in methionine, while grains tend to be low in lysine, so combining them fills those gaps. Now, for muscle building. To flip on muscle protein synthesis, the body's build switch, you need a specific amino acid called leucine. Muscle growth works like an on-off switch. You only turn it on when you get enough leucine in a single meal. For most people, that usually means getting around 30 grams of quality protein at once. Smaller amounts throughout the day often aren't enough to activate the switch. Protein also has a higher thermic effect. Your body spends more energy digesting it, which means you burn a few extra calories in the process. Now, about quantity. The RDA is basically the don't die minimum, the amount needed to prevent deficiency. For different people, it looks more like this. The food you eat doesn't become energy instantly. Carbs and fats enter your bloodstream as raw materials. They have to be delivered into the mitochondria. Yes, the powerhouse of the cell. Inside the mitochondria, these raw materials are converted into ATP. Think of it as the currency your body spends to move, think, and stay alive. But mitochondria need micronutrients to act as cofactors, so they can turn carbs and fats into usable energy. Now, a healthy metabolism behaves like a hybrid engine. It has 2 main fuel systems, glucose and fat, and it can switch between them depending on what's available. Sugar mode. When you eat, blood sugar rises because
okay, we'll see.
high sugar is damaging. Your body prioritizes burning this first.
Oh, whoa, hold on, he got that right.
And fat, and it can switch between them depending on what's available. Sugar mode.
Wait, hold on, this is sort of important. He actually got that right.
When you eat, blood sugar rises. Because high sugar is damaging, your body prioritizes burning this first.
See, because high blood sugar is damaging, that's the reason why your body prioritizes it. That is a very, very important point to know about all of this. And it doesn't necessarily mean that glucose is the preferred source. It means that glucose has to be preferred basically when you basically cram down, if you're being Mr. Saladino and you're cramming down blood sugar, right? Or you're cramming down fructose. Oh, that's not actually going to do it, but that'll do it indirectly. But you're cramming down stuff that I definitely could not say is ideally healthy. And it basically raises your blood sugar like this right here. This is what causes the damage, because this is the endothelium damage. This is not what you want to be stimulating, which is why you should just go full carnivore once again, because your body can make all of its own glucose that it needs. So why give exogenous glucose? Not only that, excess protein will be converted to glucose as well. So.
Fat mode. Once the sugar's gone, it flips a switch and starts burning stored body fat. This is metabolic flexibility, and it's a sign of a healthy engine. If you snack all day, you constantly refill the glucose tank, and your body never gets the chance to switch into fat burning mode. And then there are the non-caloric nutrients. They do not provide energy, ATP. You could eat 10 pounds of salt and drink 50 gallons of water, and you would technically have consumed 0 calories. So why do we need them? Because they basically ignite the energy to happen. We divide these into 2. Water, the forgotten macro. Vitamins and minerals, the micros. Okay, water. You already know the deal. Hydrate, human. Alright, vitamins. They come in 2 types, and the difference is simple. How long your body keeps them. First, the fat-soluble vitamins. A, D, E, and K. Think of these as long-term renters. They stick around into liver and body fat for weeks or months and handle different jobs. Since they stay for a while, your body can use the stored ones, but without bringing in new supply for too long. Boom. Deficiencies. Oh, and they only absorb properly with some fat in the meal.
Yep. And how do you get that fat in the meal? That's right. You eat meat.
And the water-soluble vitamins, B complex and C. These are the tourists. They come in, do their job, and whatever is in use leaves your body through pee. Because most of them don't stay, you need to refuel regularly.
Well, you don't need to refuel C, really, honestly, that much if you're carnivore. I mean, once again, there's a lot of living proof out there. I could just say, when you don't basically add in carbohydrate, you don't have vitamin C competing with glucose as much. Or I could just say, me and many other examples are living proof that you don't need to be adding exogenous vitamin C or high amounts of vitamin C found in plants over and over again. And that's because, once again, those plants make those antioxidants for themselves. They make them because they kill themselves very quickly. It's called the Rubisco enzyme.
Minerals. These are raw elements from the earth, grouped here by their main job. First, the electricians. They control electrical signals and fluid balance, the stuff that keeps muscles contracting and nerves talking. Second, the builders. This is the material your body uses to build and maintain bones and teeth. And third, the catalysts. These are like your body's specialized tools. Iron carries oxygen in the blood, iodine fuels thyroid hormones, and zinc triggers reactions that help cells grow and heal. Now, where does all this actually get processed? The gut. It's a long tube running from your mouth to butt. It is often called your second brain because it contains millions of neurons and constantly chats with your actual brain. It influences your mood, cravings, and even immune system. Inside this tube lives the microbiome, trillions of microorganisms, both good and bad. The goal is to maximize the good ones through environment and food, especially fermented foods. These contain probiotics, live beneficial bacteria. You feed them prebiotics, a type of fiber. In exchange, they ferment.
Hey, you don't need that.
Ferment that fiber and make SCFAs.
Well, you don't need. Once again, these short chain fatty acids. This is the stuff that horses, for instance, live off of, or a lot of these herbivore sort of animals. They live off of this. Humans don't live. They can't make this at the same degree of efficiency because we don't have the bacteria designed to basically break down fiber. Like if you look at a lot of the things that can break down fiber, they're ruminants. We are not ruminants, so we cannot break down fiber, and therefore the degree of short chain fatty acids that we get from fiber is like incredibly minimal. So
SCFAs lower inflammation and keep colon cells alive. These bacteria.
I really wonder about the studies for like how they did this SCFA stuff. I just wonder like how much cherry picking. I swear to God, there's so much bullshit science. I think that's sort of obvious, but Anyways, let's hear it.
Bacteria live on the mucus layer, a literal physical barrier that protects your intestinal wall. But if you starve the good bacteria or constantly irritate the gut with stress or processed food, that mucus layer thins out. This is leaky gut. Bacteria and toxins escape the tube and leak into your bloodstream, and your immune system goes to war. A bad gut can also trigger
Okay, that's pretty funny.
cellular breakdown, which happens in 3 distinct ways. First is inflammation, the fire. Acute inflammation is the first responder. It heals a cut or repairs a muscle. But chronic inflammation is a wildfire that never goes out, slowly burning.
He used the screaming goat meme. Hold on, he used the screaming goat meme. Okay, I gotta play this. I gotta play this just so you guys can see this. I swear to God, you gotta hear this. You gotta hear this.
I knew you were trouble when you walked in. So shame on me now. Flew me to places I've never been. Now I'm lying on the cold hard ground. Trouble, trouble, trouble. Trouble, trouble, trouble.
That's I am cultured. I'm cultured like that. I know where that comes from. I will soon be uncultured because I am not keeping up as much with the memes, but it's sort of funny hearing that again.
burning down healthy tissue. It's itself a huge topic. Let me know in the comments if you need a full breakdown on this. Second is oxidation, the rust. Just like a car produces exhaust, your cells produce free radicals. Without enough antioxidants to filter them, your cells literally rust. This is what damages DNA. But
Yeah, that's why. And then afterwards, your cells basically commit apoptosis.
don't fall for internet drama. You don't need expensive superfoods. Almost all fruits and veggies are packed with antioxidants. And
They act as pro-oxidants. You don't need them. You don't need them. Like, why would the body's own antioxidant status go up? Number one, that's basically the main thing I think about. And the second thing is, if we actually just look at it from like the plant's perspective, the reason why, like, we don't have the same level of reactive oxygen species damage to our bodies because we don't have incredibly, ridiculously inefficient complexes during what was it called? During the electron transport chain, in comparison to plants, because plants' rubisco enzyme is really inefficient, and for electron transport chain, I think only complexes 1 and 3 can occasionally leak off electrons, but 2 and 4 don't.
finally, glycation, the gunk. This happens when excess sugar binds to proteins, lipids, or DNA and caramelizes.
Or at least that's what I thought, anyways, if I remember correctly. But those are the things that came to my head. They're the most prone to leaking.
them. This creates sticky compounds called AGEs that make tissues stiff and brittle. This
Whoa. Is he going to cover it?
internal cooking is the main biological cause of wrinkles and stiff joints. So how does the body repair this damage?
Okay, interesting.
That depends on your hormones, like insulin. Every time you eat, the insulin switch flips on. When insulin is high, you are in lockdown. The body focuses on storing energy, so the cleanup process is blocked. Not eating for a while makes insulin drop, allowing you to switch to autophagy, where your cells clean up by literally eating their own broken parts. So, why is the switch always stuck on? Normally it doesn't. Your body actually has a fuel gauge to tell you when to stop. But dopamine hijacks that gauge.
This is like actually mildly accurate. I actually wouldn't say that this is accurate. The ghrelin, I wouldn't say it's super accurate. Like the amounts, the ghrelin spikes which people feel on carbohydrates is insane. Like, for instance, as a carnivore, I don't get these insane ghrelin spikes where basically these hunger spikes, right? If I just feel like, okay, I can eat something, but I don't get a ghrelin spike of like, I want to eat really badly. So it's a completely different thing. But yeah, this is okay.
Ignores the stop signals and makes you hunt for reward. And then, cortisol, the stress alarm. When you're stressed, your body thinks you're running from a predator. It literally melts down your muscle tissue to dump massive energy into your blood for a sprint. But you aren't sprinting. You are sitting in front of a laptop. So, you lose your muscle tone, and that unused sugar settles on your belly.
That actually, I think this is pretty important to mention. The thing he was talking about, all of that right there, I think understanding the tissue remodeling process, once again, I have a video on that, is really important to knowing why exactly muscle tissue will basically degrade itself over time, and why actually a lot of tissues basically degrade themselves over time, especially if unused. If you understand the tissue remodeling process, I think that's super, super important. So, and just tissue remodeling in general and blood flow.
Ancient biology is no match for modern food engineering. In nature, macros are almost always separated. You find sugar in fruit, but no fat, or fat in meat, but no sugar. But ultra-processed foods are different.
Yeah, but you also, actually, this is also sort of important, you never really
You find sugar in fruit.
You never really see these sorts of fruits. Like, these never existed in nature, ever. Like, these, for instance, if you look at all of the sizes of all of these, and pretty much their content, like how much sugar they have in them, it's insanely high compared to, for instance, like let's just take like this blueberry right here. This is like incredibly tiny. This was so small, there is no way back in before the agricultural revolution that you could sustain yourself on something like this. And same with every single other one of these fruits, by the way. They all used to be incredibly small. It's just that humans pretty much did a lot of genetic engineering, not necessarily through selecting for traits that they desired in the food over time, and that's what allowed for the agricultural revolution, like 10,000 years ish or something ago, to really like kick off and go forward and be successful. It's because they selected for traits that they explicitly wanted, which is like a lot. They wanted the plant to divert as much of its resources more so into the part that they can eat and less into the pesticide part that basically helps the plant ward off invaders, basically, which is like insects and stuff, or some other animals who eat plants.
But no fat, or fat in meat, but no sugar. But ultra-processed foods are different, industrially formulated to hit a mathematically perfect bliss point. This specific structure short-circuits the brain's stop signal, mimicking the rapid dopamine hit of a drug.
I think
Specific structure different, industrially formulated to hit a
Okay, so I think this thing right here, I don't think the processed fats play too much of a role. I think it's actually just the intense salt and the refined sugar that play the biggest role in terms of like keeping people hooked on this sort of stuff. Because their go-to signal for salt isn't actually salt itself. It's just the processed food in which they find the salt. And the same thing for the sugar. The sugar is just a drug. So it's basically crack. It's no different than crack. So if you do have sugar, you're basically on crack, in my opinion. A lot of people addicted to sugar. A lot of people addicted to sugar in today's day and age.
Mimicking the rapid dopamine hit of a drug, rather than the slow satisfaction of a meal. To further engineerize it, they inject some sneaky substances. First, preservatives like sodium benzoate. Their job is to stop bacteria from multiplying to extend shelf life. But once eaten, they don't stop and keep suppressing bacteria, even the good ones. Then, emulsifiers like polysorbate 80. These are essentially industrial soaps. Remember the leaky gut we discussed? Emulsifiers are the detergent that scrubs away that protective mucus wall. So a simple rule is this.
Well, but would you say eggs do that? Because eggs also are basically, they're basically mixing fat. They're mixing what's called polar and non-polar. That's basically what an emulsifier does, is it mixes polar and non-polar together. So polar basically means fat, and non-polar basically means water. That's
Food didn't exist 200 years ago. Try to avoid including it in your diet. All right, enough.
If a food didn't exist 200 years ago, try not including it. Okay. Interesting. I don't fully agree with that. I personally think if a food didn't exist I'd push that back a little further. I'd probably go to 10, 12,000. Right? Yeah. Just eat meat once again.
Theory. Let's see the strategy. Stop arguing about the roof when the foundation is cracking. Here is the logical hierarchy of how to actually fix the machine. Step 1. Cut the crap. Before you count a single calorie, you gotta cut out the noise. The goal is to eliminate the industrial formulations we just talked about. You don't need a PhD for this. Use the one ingredient rule. The best foods don't have ingredients. They are ingredients.
Okay, I agree. It's better to have... Yeah, this is pretty ridiculous, honestly. The amount of ingredients in this is pretty insane. But yeah, I agree. You should this is a better healthy start anyways. It's not ideal, but it's still a definitely better start.
Steak is just steak. Broccoli is just broccoli. If you simply eat foods that look like they came from nature, you automatically remove this BS. Step 2. Lock in the foundation. Once the junk is out, you need a new focus. Your goal is to shut down hunger and protect your muscle. Here's why this works. Protein is the most satiating nutrient, meaning it triggers the release of GLP-1, the same I'm full signal that
You know where you get this from? You get this from meat. You get extreme satiety pretty much from meat. So
modern weight loss drugs try to mimic. So don't count calories yet. Count protein. Aim for a solid portion at every meal based on your body size. This way you physically won't have room for junk. Step 3. Adjust the energy dials. Now, let's talk about fuel. Protein is the foundation. It stays fixed. Carbs and fats are the dials you turn based on your lifestyle. Sit at a desk all day? Lower the carbs and rely on healthy fats for stable power.
I wouldn't say all of these are healthy. I don't agree with the avocados, the broccoli, the almonds, nuts. I don't know what this is. Eggs, I can go with. Salmon, I can go with.
Train
Butter, I can go with.
like an athlete. Turn up the carbs to fuel that performance. This ends.
Well, I actually have seen the opposite. Actually, I've seen apparently there's like people who set some of these records. They actually do this in fasted states instead. So it sort of does make you wonder. My personal opinion. I think that it's because the way we live today. I mean, so many people incorporate carbs, but the fact that there are some records set in fasted states goes to show that I think you can get better results. There can be better results seen from not eating carbs, actually.
The diet wars. Whether it's keto or paleo, they are just different ways of managing these energy dials. Pick the one you can actually stick to. Step 4. Fill the holes. Finally, the optimization. The word supplement literally means in addition to. It does not mean substitute. Why can't you just eat junk and pop a multivitamin? 2 reasons. First is bioavailability. Nature packages nutrients with the tools your body needs to absorb them. A pill is often just an isolated chemical. Absorption is poor. Second is purity, which is a big question mark. However, modern life does create gaps. We stay indoors and our soil is depleted. This is where supplements belong, as high-quality insurance to fix those specific holes. So the thing is, don't just blindly pop pills. Get blood work, identify your specific gap, and find a reputable brand to fill it. But if you skip step 1 and step 2, these pills are useless, and that's nutrition, pretty much all of it. At least the parts that actually matter. If you learned something, let the algorithm know. And if this hits 1,000 likes, I'll drop part 2. Also, comment the topic you want a full, dedicated video on. Okay, bye.
Okay, so that was all of nutrition science in 13 minutes. I honestly don't think that was too bad. Did, for the most part, a pretty good job of explaining some things, although I don't necessarily agree with some of them, obviously, and I've mentioned before. Not only that, if you're really interested in all the details behind the carnivore stuff, check out the Real Nutrition Science playlist. It explains everything in like way more detail, extreme amounts of detail, too much detail. Actually, so much detail to the point where I even forgot a little bit of it about, probably say, made it 2 years ago or so-ish. So, yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something valuable. I'll see you in the next